Welcome back, everyone, back to week 4 of the 2021 Spring Splits, the new CSGO Varsity tournament. My name is Nova Kane. I'm joined by Zach, and we had a very, very exciting first game. It definitely delivered the hype that we were expecting, but what about this one? Back 6 versus Derby Gods, a sort of middle of the pack sort of grudge match for either team to decide who goes up and who stays in the bottom half.
Yeah, I mean, back 6 have been a team that have consistently been fragging and getting kills and just farming their ADR and still find themselves 8th in the standings. I mean, less than that now. We don't have the updated standings after they just lost back 6, so they're actually tumbled down a little bit further. But yeah, some of the better players individually, it seems, looking at the stats, but just not finding the results to pull it together.
No, not at all. I'm just looking through who they've played, and they've actually put up some very solid performances against some quite good teams as well. You know, they pushed half Natty Head Tappers, our undefeated team, to 16-13. Eons ago, weeks ago. So they, like you said, they've got some stand-up performances, but they seem to struggle to fully close out games and fully come through on top. And like their last game today, they lost 16-5, which is, I think, the most devastating loss they've had so far in the tournament. So they're coming off the back of a loss. We'll have to see how they do and how their mental's going into this game.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon this is going to be a good one. It's two of the middle of the pack teams, and it looks like we're already ready for vetoes coming into this one. We had a little bit of a break, so we've got our vetoes ready already. It means we don't have to waffle on quite as long.
Let's see. Let's bring up the vetoes, and then I'm going to look up my statistics at the same time. And let's see. So back 6, they like playing Inferno. They like playing Overpass. Played Vertigo once and Dust too. So that's like the sort of map pool that they prefer. Derby, on the other hand, they like playing Train. They like playing Nuke. And that's about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if back 6 ban out both those. If I was them, I'd certainly ban out those two maps first. There we go, gone. Train and Nuke. Yep. Banned out. Mirage and Overpass. Interesting. I don't think... I'm looking at it, and I don't think back 6 has played Overpass. I would expect Inferno to be, prioritized. We're left with Vertigo.
Yay.
So maybe a sort of outside map that they thought that they could get from the draft. Derby hasn't played this map before. It's only been played twice, I think, so far, maybe 3 times. So interesting.
I'm excited to see this.
I'm excited. I think Derby definitely came out with a plan on this one with the way the draft went out and their bans. Back 6 have already played this map once. I'm not sure who it was against, but
one of the only 2 games before this that actually played on Vertigo. It hasn't been a big one. Of course, we've seen last game the Head Tappers played the other game of Vertigo. Back 6 have played this one. So the third game, back 6 taking back the Vertigo crown, becoming kings of Vertigo now, I guess queens of Vertigo, considering the name of the university. And yeah, this should be a good one. Of course, a T-sided map, I think, this one. So knife round, actually more important than people realize. If you pick CT side, I think you're making a mistake. A lot of more amateur teams will always pick CT side if they win knife round. It is not the thing to do on Vertigo, I don't think. If you know your smokes, this is T-sided.
And it's been a map that's been fairly slow to get going. There's been some resistance, I think, among both the community and even the professional scene as well, with teams being very resistant to wanting to take up this map. But there we go. Just like that.
They switched to T-side straight away.
Yeah, there we go. Straight away. We'll take it. It's ours.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, T-side is what I wanted to see picked, so yeah, 2 middle-of-the-road teams, honestly. And middle of the road is the most exciting because 8th and higher is how you get into the top bracket for the next semester. And these teams are going to be fighting as hard as possible. The other game, completely, pride-based. These teams just wanted to be the first ones to win everything. And now actually really fast coming in towards B here. Fate just going to hold passively, and Molotov's coming in. Lots of smokes. Pinhead Larry gets the first kill, and Orcs just hiding in this back position. Gets one, looking for the second, gets his head sliced off itself, but of course it is the Glock, can't quite get anything done. Zay playing on the middle of the site, gets one, gets two, gets three, in fact. And now it's Konza, 1 versus 2 situation, looking left and right, doesn't quite realize where both the players are, and Finch takes off his head last second in the round there. Back 6 win the first one, and Zay rather, really the driving force in that round. 3 kills, and even though the Derby Gods prepped for it, they had the smokes, they had the mollies, didn't matter. Back 6 just took that site back as quick as it was taken.
An incredible retake, very, very fast and disciplined, and we can see almost pretty much the full buy across the board for them. Coming through 2 MP9s, 2 M4s. What does it eagle for Fuli? Fate, though, going to step out into the open, but backs off fairly quickly. Doesn't want to get too caught out from that front, but Orcs spray around, maybe a little too pushed up in mid. He's going to spray down, but no, he wins out against his opposite number. And Derby Gods, they might just be about to get completely decapitated by the side of back 6, making it look clean, making it look comfortable. They look very calm and easy, but this is where it counts. This is the gun round. This is where we have to see what Derby can pull out of the bag.
Yeah, back 6 giving a little bit of an insight into the way that they play, though. There's no respect there pushing in. They have the MP9s and the M4s. They don't care. They just sprinted straight down ramp as soon as they saw no one was there, and they pushed for the kills. Derby Gods as well, giving an indication themselves. A lot of aggression towards B early on, and back 6 not meeting that. Nico actually gets the first kill on towards B. I say that they're not meeting it. Fate pushes aggressively and loses their head, or body rather. No headshot in that fight, but now Derby Gods with the advantage on the T side, and well, the advantage in the round on the T side, and it's going to be a bit more difficult for back 6 to hold, especially as Zay moves away from a pretty powerful position on the headshot there to peek over onto ramp. I imagine this boost is coming out on the crane, and Zay just looks a Trill ready for it though, and gets the headshot. That's a position that works well if if the other team don't know it, but as soon as they do, your head's very visible far before you see anything. And Trill just waiting for some other aggression to come through. Back 6 not doing quite as well in this round as maybe you would have hoped.
Yeah, Trill able to get that kill because of the boost, completely uncontested, and for that man advantage, it means that you just kind of play the time. Finch is going to pop flash his own way out, finds Pin and Larry, immediately killed and traded out by Trill. So still, the advantage is firmly in the hands of Derby Fuli in this very, very strong headshot position. He's just going to keep tapping away. Utility thrown out. Molotov's going to force him off the position. Trill's going to step on through onto site, playing it fairly slow despite the amount of utility being thrown forwards. They don't want to rush in, want to clear every single angle, ensure that there's not a sneaky hiding somewhere that they don't want. But here's the teammate. Fuli is here with Orcs. It looks like they're going to save and back off. They don't want to contest it, don't want to lose this weaponry. And Derby Gods, they managed to get one on the board.
Really well played from the Derby Gods. They're not looking for the kills. They knew that back 6 went too aggressive on the other rounds, and they just waited for it to happen again. And of course, it did happen. Playing sort of 1 versus 2s really, Derby, by the way that they were peaking. Back 6 rather, in the way that they were peaking. And Derby win it pretty comfortably, honestly. Only 1 player going down for the T side. That's not a big deal at all. And Konza actually looking for even more kills. Going very aggressive. Probably not going to get anything for his time here. Actually almost loses his own head in that exchange. And now, back 6, a little bit on the weaker side in terms of their economy. Finch going to have to pull out an MP9. Fuli probably going to have to drop over an M4 to his teammate and pull one out himself, but with no utility whatsoever. Meanwhile, Derby Gods, look at the utility on that side.
Yeah, the utility is abundant. Beautifully abundant across the board. Finch, though, going for an aggressive play somehow. No players have fallen. Just as I say that, Zay trades 1-for-1 with Drill. That's the fragger who's been putting Derby into good spots. Taken out fairly early, and within 30 seconds, we've already had blood. First blood has been drawn. Both teams are scrapped a little bit, and now we're settling down. settles, but Finch is still in a very aggressive position. He's going to start pushing on down. He's almost finds one. Yes, he does. Bin and Larry and Consor follow suit, and the aggression from back six just cannot be matched by Derby Gods, and they're crumbling underneath it. Finch, it looks like he's going to try and pop flash his way out again. He finds nothing, and now he can just hold his position.
Early on in this game, I think we're seeing something that maybe I wasn't expecting coming into this, but it's that neither team seems really, oh my word, Finch gets 2 there and actually goes within an inch of losing his life. Only 5 HP. Zay as well ends it on 3, but it doesn't matter, of course, still survive and still keep all the money that they invested. But what I was saying was these players, you know, maybe not the best prep for this map. They're, you know, back six just playing very aggressively. Derby Gods, they know the smokes, but they've not played it before. Oh, sorry. Yeah, they haven't played it before. They're not really quite as ready as they would have hoped. I don't think they've scrimmed this as much as they'd liked, and it's not really working out for them. They're just a little bit off at the moment, not perfect at holding the aggression. Of course, we saw it in the other round that they did it very well, but sort of you should be ready for that 50-50 play, especially when a player runs in with an MP9. You've got to be, as a team, ready to take that on. But you're just playing that same position again, and this time not ready for it.
So now the boost comes out, and that works incredibly well for the side of back six. Trill follows up, though. He will reply. So it goes hand in hand, but this time it certainly takes off well. Actually, we have been absolutely bamboozled. It is the other way around. So Derby is actually on the CTs. Those are the ones with the advantage. That aggression coming out from them was fairly surprising. And now back six are left on the reverse, left on the back foot. But with kills like that, it might just claw them back into this game. 35 seconds remaining. Orcs takes down Larry. And now, with a disadvantage, it's going to be difficult. Konzo's going to come around the flank, fails to win that spray. I don't know what happened. Fate comes out that somehow alive. The cruel twist of fate on the behalf of back six, but it's not going to be all right. We're just having some overlay issues while we get this all sorted out. So it should be clearer now for everyone at home. But the thing that is clear is the fact that Derby is in the lead, and you know, back six just look not what we're expecting from such a heavy fragging team.
Yeah, so just if anyone is confused, Derby Gods are on the CT side, not the T side. That was an issue with our overlay there. It's something really I should have noticed. I've casted both these teams before, but anyway, pushing onto the site here, back six, only on the pistols, and not really got the money to do this. Of course, Zay comes in to help, can't quite get anything done, loses his head straight away to Trill, and not quite aggressive enough coming out from Trill, just trying to play passive with this Deagle. Of course, did get 2 kills for his trouble earlier on, but a little bit more aggression might have backed up his teammates a little bit better as Trill waits for a player to swing, and that's what he does, can't quite get the headshots. And now, Derby 5 to back 6-1, and well, all the players for back six showing up, really. Derby Gods showing up, still confusing me a little bit. Aspect yet to get a kill or an assist on the board, and not what you want to see as a back six player. Of course, could mean that, you know, no potential's really being shown from these players if that's the case. Of course, when you see a player on 0 kills and only 1 round on the board, it means that if he does start popping off, it can completely change how the game's played, and so back six, not completely out of this, obviously. Only 4 rounds down.
Certainly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Certainly, though, for a team like this, we'd want to see something more. You know, like you said, Aspen basically being non-existent, taken out again so early, and it's just, you know, Derby firmly in control. They feel comfortable. They've certainly, at least from my eyes, won the map draft. Because Baxit's got the option on where to go. They decided to go T-side. They decided to take that advantage, and they're just not able to press it. The Raptors are just coming out on top. The Gods, you know, evolution has gone further back in time to the pre-dinosaurs, because the Gods are on the field today. And they're just pulling no punches. They're just going to be stepping on through around their smoke. But there is a reply by back six. A little bit of hope. Finch, with full confidence, going to walk around. But Orcs has a nice little angle. Backs off. I don't know what he's shooting at. Like, kind of hot air, trying to predict maybe where the player was going. He misses on Larry. Fate is just going to push around. Should be able to find this on Larry. Larry steps out though, and Larry wins. Trill follows up as well, and Larry just pops off for back six.
Yeah, well, I mean, Larry just come alive there. I wasn't really ready for that. A player that honestly has been sort of off my radar a little bit in the past few, semesters of Newell, but all of a sudden, seasons rather, of Newell, and all of a sudden now he's showing what he's worth. Only 5 and 6 still, but that round, I mean, impact frags galore. And now a real fast push coming out from Derby Gods, showing that they've got the aggression still, and Orcs gets an early kill on Nico. And this is all going wrong on the follow-up. This can't be good for morale as Derby Gods just getting kill after kill after kill. Larry should be getting that one, but Fooley swings and gets the headshot on him. And now Orcs just going to back away from B. It's 5 versus 3. Nothing that Derby Gods, back six can do. They've no idea where any of the players are. 2 players pushed up ramp, but they don't know what's happened on the rest of the map. They don't know what's gone on in B at the moment. It's completely lost, and the players now on back six just going to have to push into A. They don't know what they're seeing.
Back six just been shot apart by Derby, and they look a little bit lost. Derby Gods certainly have a game plan. They know that the multiple positions they can play on either side, and they're switching things up consistently to try and take them out. That is a hard shot to hit if you're the AWP player. That is very, very hard. He misses a headshot. Orcs replies in kind as well. Aspect is left alone with 1 kill, so he's at least on the board now. He's got something going for him. He's off the donut, which is something. He didn't go 007. But still, this is a very unlikely round for him to win, but that's certainly a step that he needs to take if he's going to try and win this for his team. He's going to try and stick the defuse, I think. Orcs can see his head. No, but he will just wallbang him. Aspect gets taken down, and back six get the bomb plant. The Derby Gods get the round.
Yeah, Derby Gods actually showing that you can make aggression work on this map as the CT side. It's something that a lot of players are really hesitant to do, but they're showing it in good function here, and back six just don't know what to do about it. Pulling out the Deagles now, hoping that they get something for their troubles. Of course, up close, the Deagles do more damage than an M4 does, so they can kill, in as many bullets as the M4. They just don't even need the headshot. So just looking to see if they can get something done. Anything's better than the 2 rounds that they've got at the moment. It is a T-sided map, so they're probably hoping for a little bit more. Orc's been flashed away now and can't get more than 1 for his troubles. Gets the first shot, but nothing better than that. And Zay playing behind the sandbags here. It's a really potent position, especially against the AUE that Pinhead Larry's got on his side. Just slowly pushing in. Zay watching for that boost that comes out, of course, on those boxes. They're ready for him, though. Gets 1 through the box and starts reloading. If they do push him aggressively here, it might work out for them, but Wooly there to back up, and they get 2 in mid. And back six, once again, have fallen apart. They were, at the start, it was more impressive, but not quite as good anymore. Trill gets the headshot. Of course, the player didn't have any head armor, didn't make any difference, but Wooly swings, gets the headshot, and it takes it to 7-2 in favor of the Derby Gods. And, this actually is kind of a whitewash at the moment. Derby God's playing a lot better.
Yeah, Derby God straight 500 IQ'd that map draft. You can tell back six just do not seem prepared. That sandbags play was really lovely by Zay and Fooley. Zay gets the first one, just ducks down, waits for the teammate to rotate round so they can back him up on that play. And it worked really well for them. They got 3 kills out of it and essentially just turned the round on its head. Yes, it was essentially like a forced by eco thing for back six, but still, you don't want to hand any weaponry over, especially in AWP. And it's nice to see that team play, and even when it's getting very sloppy, Derby Gods is still relying on their fundamentals of coordination to pull on through in rounds like that. Zay, though, going to go aggressive and peek a corner with Aspect waiting on the other side. The lineup just isn't right. Zay almost pre-fires that. And Aspect gets taken down 2-9. Trill is waiting. He seems to be one of the few players who's really having a positive performance in back six. But they're just losing out on every single gunfight. That was painful to watch. And back six is just destroyed. 8-2 to Derby Gods.
All due respect to the back six players, but this isn't good enough to finish in top 8 at the moment. This isn't top 8 form. These players, we were touting them as incredible ADR players. They're aimers, they're aim stars. And they've done none of that. They've got no strategy. They've got no aim. They haven't been any good so far. And once again, these teams have timeouts. They can call one if they want to. They're deciding not to. This is a passive decision not to call a timeout here. And, yeah, just allowing themselves to hemorrhage round after round after round. Of course, only 2 on the board so far. And it looks like they're not going to get another one with the standard of play that we're seeing at the moment. This is very poor.
Just looks like they're playing sort of solo at the moment. Even when they're grouped up, they don't look like a team. It looks like almost matchmaking or face it or something, because it just lacks that coordination and finesse. Now this is a little more promising. Just as I say that, Finch destroys that dream for back 6, gets the triple as well, and makes it look easy. Derby Gods firmly in control, and back 6, like you said, take a timeout, take a pause, discuss what's going on, because it is not working. Something has to change, because if you carry on like this, you're just going to dig yourself into a deeper and deeper hole.
Yeah, I mean, Konza 1 kill, Aspect only 2, of course, was on 0. They pushes mid. One of the players is looking away to flash in towards B, and they've not done anything with it. Konza, of course, does get the kill on the other side of the map to make up for that, though, and it is a 4 versus 4, which is known to be a strengthening move for the T side, of course. It's people coming from PogChamps. It's like when you trade your Bishop for a Knight. You may as well have not done that move, because Bishop tends to be a little bit stronger. But now the Derby Gods, a player down and struggling a little bit in this round. Of course, do have the team play on their side and are looking towards A. But, yeah, back 6 should get this one if they aren't sloppy. They're waiting, taking it slow, still got all that utility on their side as well, so should get this one fairly comfortably if they don't make any big blunders.
Yeah, they had the man advantage, and yeah, I'm still hesitant to say that they're actually stronger here, just because of how, like, Derby don't even look particularly like amazing. They just look fairly like practiced, and they look like they know what they're doing, and it's paying off for them. And so back 6, even with all this utility usage, this is a lot nicer. The coordination, being able to get the utility down, they should be able to get this plant fairly simply. Zay's going to pop flash his way on through, but Pinhead Larry is waiting for it, and this is far better from back 6. Far better team play, and I just force Derby Gods to back off here and save their weaponry.
The most promising thing about this is the utility usage. I spoke about it just before they pushed onto the site. They all had like 3 nades each. And now, as the round's ending, it's all gone. They've thrown all the smokes and they've left it until there's about 15 seconds left on the bomb, 10 seconds left on the bomb before all the utility disappears. They actually might... Oh, no, they do have 1 player towards B. I couldn't quite see on the map there. 2 players in towards the A site, so ready for it to come through. Really does get 1 kill for his troubles. Pinhead Larry going to survive this bomb blast by hiding in the corner. Of course, a little bit smaller on the Vertigo map, so you can get away with standing a little bit closer than you can on others, similar to Nuke. And back 6 pick up their 3rd round of the half and 3rd round of the game so far. And this could be the mounting of a comeback.
Could be. Still a little bit doubtful. There is a lot more steps that they have to climb up before I'd say they're even in a position for us to entertain that possibility. Orcs, though, if he keeps missing shots like that, that might prove an advantage, but Finch is going to have none of it. And he gets the opening kill. Aspect taken down. Fate is being very sneaky. Nico must have heard those footsteps. We'll see Fate popping up. Okay. Alright, it's fine. He got the kill. We'll ignore it. You know, he's having a hard game. Alright. So we'll move on. But still, at least he managed to find a kill. He gets taken down. That'll even things up a little bit over. But still, Derby Gods still look fairly comfortable. That was a very ambitious position for Fate to try and take. But the rest of the players are still ready and able and willing. They seem to be pretty comfortable in this position, especially with the rotation round. They've got a feeling. He's heading on towards Finch, so he's called for backup. Hawks is here with this AWP. Zay is going to try and go for the fattest of flanks, and this could be huge. This could be devastating. He might find all the T's looking the wrong way. Back 6, you've got to watch your back because you are not ready for this one. Zay finds one, but Melee backs off. Playing for his food, not just, you know, not going over aggressive, playing with time. He's letting the T's forcing them forwards to have to walk on through. Nico and Pin and Larry pick up 2. Finch is left playing with the AWP Konza, but it's a 1 versus 2. He's going to run on through and going to rotate through to the other site with 15 seconds remaining.
Smart play from Konza there. He's not letting his KD get to the better of him. He just runs straight away. He knows exactly what to do. And back 6, you have a chance in this round, especially with the AWP. He goes kind of the wrong way, though. It might not work out from this one. Of course, actually, Derby Gods have decided to split up for some reason. It's turned into 2 1 versus 1s here. And this could actually work out for Konza. Looking the wrong way at the moment, but Finch gives away his position early on, still gets the headshot. And in the words of LL Cool J, don't call it a comeback. Derby Gods get the next round, 10-3. Back 6, gonna struggle. The money is still okay for them, though. They've got that on their side. Can pull out the AWP again on Konza and still can get AKs, but the KTs on all of these players, the team play is less than adequate for really a challenge to come from these players.
And this is where you want to take a time out. This is where you take a pause. You know, take that breathing room. You know, it's not going to make things any worse. Yeah. And especially when you have players like Trill and Larry who are able to win their ones, are able to be proactive on the map and find these kills. You know, these rounds that they have won have been through those players. And so utilizing them effectively is of the utmost importance. And it has happened a little bit this round, finding Finch. That's a big fragger off the board, but Orcs wins out against Konza. So Konza really not having a great game, not able to utilize that AWP. Not like we saw Drop in last game where, you know, he was looking lackluster and then he got the AWP in his hands and suddenly just woke up. Not going to be the case for Konza. But Fate might be about to be greeted by Nico and Trill. Taking their time, stepping wide. Fate's going to swing this, get the information back off. Aspect will take down the AWP player, so now Fate's going to be pressured. The T's are going to push onto the site. Zay, Nico, Aspect's going to be pop flash out. He should be able to find that one. There we go. And it's a 2-on-2. Somehow, though, Zay has got the flank. And how's this just falling apart for back 6? This shouldn't go this way. You had Fate completely out in the open. It's all rests on the hands of Larry. The AK in hand. Fuli steps out a little too far. He's going to run out of ammo. 1 shot left in the barrel, but it's enough to kill. He's just got to find it. He sticks to Reno. Fuli going to come up close, but somehow Derby Gods take it, and that is heartbreaking for Larry.
And that's the money. So, well, actually, I was going to say it's the money ruined, but the bomb goes down, so there's some solace in that one. But like I said before, it's a T-sided map. These players should be getting more rounds than 3, potentially 4 in a full half. And it just doesn't look good from back 6. Even rounds that they're getting close on, it's not like they're taking initiative. None of the players are doing anything. There's no tactics coming out that are truly sensational or something that you see in high-level play. They're just running a default, and rounds that they're winning are just because Derby Gods are going too aggressively. It's happened again there. 2 Derby Gods players a little bit too aggressive, and maybe they're going to be graced a 4th round by the Derby Gods really struggling with his play, and a player coming in behind him on Ivy. There's not much he can do, and Zay now, this would be a round that they try and save on, but of course, final round of the half, Zay pushing in, loses his life, and Pinhead Larry, nice little kill at the end there to take it to 11-4. Good halves being thrown around in the chat, but hardly a good half for most of those back 6 players.
Only player who is positive is Pinhead Larry. Poor Larry. I feel bad just for that 1v1. How did that fall apart so badly there? For back 6, you could be looking at 5-10 half. You know, some of those rounds, you know, could have gone a little bit closer in your half, potentially even 6-9. And, you know, now they're left with a huge deficit. And, of course, on the unfavorable side, against a team, at least Derby has showed some semblance of understanding how the map can be played at this higher level. And we'll see if that translates into their pistol round. They come through with a strategy. Or is Derby God going to just flounder on the T side like back 6 did?
Larry's going to lose his head here, I think. He's just actually hiding in a corner. He's not even going to peek up. He's spraying through the smoke, not going to get anything for it. Trill gets a headshot on Finch, though. And that smoke not quite good enough. Konza and as well. Trill, another one. Now it's just Zay and Fuli. 2 versus 4 here. Fuli gets a nice headshot with the deagle. I mean, that's a bit of a BM move to buy one of those. I'm not quite sure what Fuli's thinking there. Just, I guess, thinks that he's better with that than with the Glock, trying for that one-shot headshot potential. Bit more worth it, I guess, than buying a deagle on the T side. Of course, on the CT side, rather, gets another headshot on Trill, and all the players for back six playing in towards A now. They're confident that this is going to happen, but slowly backing away is Zay, and Fuli just making as much noise as possible, pushing forward. Actually, Zay comes back onto the site. Looks like he's going to try and plant the bomb as Fuli holds. Looks in towards elevator, can't see anything, starts spamming towards the headshot position, and now Zay actually gets a kill on Konza, and this is slowly falling apart for the back six sides. Fuli can't get another one, but Zay trades him out, and now Pinhead Larry, no armor. Of course, Zay doesn't know this. Zay, only 29 HP, maybe not going to go for the spam on the body. Actually, still gets a headshot on Pinhead Larry, and from a 5 versus 2 position, back six lose it, and still, Derby Gods pick up the deagle at the end of the round. How do they let that happen?
I am... Call a timeout! I need a timeout! Back six, please! Come on! Like... You can't keep going on like this. It can't happen. This
12-4 down.
It's 12-4. We keep saying, call a bloody timeout. You need it at this point because it's just all falling apart. Even when you're gifted 3 kills, Derby Gods are able to pull it back with a superior team play and firepower. And we're left in a similar situation again, a 2 versus 2, but Derby Gods are just so on it. Fuli and Zay tag teaming again, but this time looks like the rotation is going to come off. Fuli's just going to try and see if he can find one. And now, okay, will back six lose another clutch? Or will they be able to finally get a round in this half on the board? We'll have to see. Zay plants the bomb, 20-9. This guy is unstoppable at the moment. He's just going to push through that Mac 10. Or he's going to sit in the smoke.
He's not going to get
2
away
players
with
in front
this.
of him.
No
He's
way.
going to hear the steps. So that was a drop just there. Konza's going to jump down in front, but it's not going to be enough. And finally, back six win a round.
A little bit too confident from the Derby. I'm losing my voice a bit there. They're a little bit too confident from the Derby Gods, of course. Going very aggressive with the Mac 10s, and back six are ready for it. All of them stacking towards A, towards mid, and very little presence on B. It means that Derby Gods directly countered by the play. And once again, it's not the back six taking initiative. It's not them doing anything special. They just happened to be on the site that the Derby Gods rushed into. Again, no information play. Of course, it is only an anti-eco, so can't be too harsh on them. But yeah, I mean... Why? Derby Gods are brought up now. I don't know what's happening anymore. These teams don't respect each other, neither of them. Why is he glass cannoning against this? There's a player with a Mac 10. It just... I don't know what's happening anymore. Ovi could just... Oh.
I'm as lost as you. I said, call a timeout. I want a timeout. It's all over the place. And like Derby Gods, forced by Zay, AWP, back six at least. Now this is a little bit better, a little firmer in their defensive position. You know, that instead of essentially getting kills from early aggression, this time back six is the one aggressing. Orcs gets taken down, and this looks a little bit better. They get the aggression, they back off immediately. Konza holds on to mid, and now it's all left with Zay with that AWP.
Just throw it up.
I do not see him winning this one. Yeah, throw it off the map or something. Trill takes him down, and back six honestly looked a lot better that map in that round.
Yep, not that map. Don't get that confused. The T side for back six was very poor. But yeah, coming back a little bit, Derby Gods feeling a little bit confident, maybe taking the mick a little bit, and of course lose 2 rounds in a row and give an AWP to back six. That's huge for the CT economy as well. Hardly getting any kills. Konza 7.5k, and now rushing into mid. Konza very slow reactions on that one. Not sure. May have been looking at his map, and now Zay pushing into mid very aggressively. No one with him. No Molotov coming through. Molotov flash coming through. Konza and Zay pairing up there as well to get those kills. Nico as well throwing a flash in. All of the the back six players pitching in, and Pinhead Larry even getting a kill in mid. And it looks like they've just called everybody's in mid, guys. Everybody's there. Just rotate off your sights and hold it. And Aspect's even getting in on the trouble here. Whoops. Just looking to get anything that he can, and Derby Gods lose that one. Back six win a 7th, taking it to 5 rounds between them. Of course, these teams are sorted on you know, a range of different factors, including round differential. So Derby Gods maybe don't want to be throwing this quite as hard as they are, because of course they might end up finishing outside of the top 8 if they do keep doing that solely on round differential, so maybe want to wake up just a little bit as they start rushing in towards A, a few of the players now, and Fate coming in with the bomb. Orcs gets one, Zay gets another one, and now A completely blown open. No players towards here. Konza rotating in fast, has the AWP, actually gets a very nice kill on Zay from distance there, and now Konza just waiting for players to run in. The smoke comes out in front of him though, throws the nade in reply, and Aspect pushing in behind. It is being held by Fate, not quite ready for that one, Aspect, and doesn't quite have the spray control down. Oh my god, Fuli, and now Nico has been spotted. Fuli ready for the 1 versus 1 here, and gets another headshot. Fuli, incredible stuff. Not got the best KD, but look at those kills.
I was about to say back six are hungry. They've woken up. They're looking better. And then Fuli just dismantles them in like whatever hope they just had just got dashed. I mean, they came off the back of a flawless round, so everyone stayed alive. They had a really healthy economy because of it. And Fuli just like destroys them. Just takes no prisoners. Fate is going to push into mid though. Zay as well on this ramp, and you can see checking that boost. It's like a key spot to look out for. Konza will find the opening kill this time. He had a little bit of like lag or like, I don't know, brain delay or something, but this time he's active, he's on it, and he finds the kill and does put back six into a sort of a weird position because they haven't been able to play from ahead in many of this rounds, and in fact most of the time they're losing out, but that is just a kill you cannot give over. Nice of Aspect to be able to trade it back immediately. Konza though has definitely woken up on this AWP, and suddenly he's hitting shots that he was just missing straight earlier.
Yeah, and it's like I said at the very start of the game, I expected it maybe to come a little bit earlier. Hawks, very unlucky there, but it's just the sort of thing where you start getting kills and rounds just start mounting up, and Derby Gods have been gifting them a few in a row now, so back six do have a chance to bring it back. It may have just been confidence that was making it a bit scrappy. Of course, this is a game to fight for the top 8 spots, and back six did come out of a pretty resounding loss in the last game, but Trill picking up 2 very nice kills there, and Orcs made to pay a little bit for not getting that Konza kill earlier on. The economy for back six building and building. Larry, very rich, manages to drop his teammate. And look at all the utility. Usually the CT struggle a little bit more. And finally, we have a pause coming out.
Who called the pause? That's what I want to know. Who called it? I bet it was Derby as well. I bet it was Derby.
Oh,
okay, it's technical. Never mind. No. They're not even calling pauses. Who knows? Right.
Yep. Fate dips from the server, and still yet to see a tactical pause. Yeah. So we've seen a technical. Fate disappeared, but now we get at least to have some nice little shots in the background for you, and we get to look at the stats a little bit more in depth.
Look at the headshot ratio for both Fuli and Pinhead Larry.
Oh my god, Fuli.
For Larry. Fuli on 100% headshot ratio. You know, that is a sight to behold, and certainly a rare one at that. See a player who's that dominant, you know, the Juan Tap machine with that AK-47 coming in clutch for the Derby Gods. But back six have certainly, you know, on their CT side, yes, they've been gifted quite a few rounds, but still, at least they're starting to get the momentum rolling. And, you know, we always say that momentum plays a huge factor in these types of games where, you know, after every round, there's another one and there's another one, and the game sort of resets. You know, it is always, technically, it's always winnable. It doesn't matter if it's 15-0, you can still come back. Back six, that momentum sort of starting to swing it in their favour.
For this boost.
Derby Gods might have gifted them. What the hell is that, though? A triple boost? Doesn't find... I think Orcs managed to find one. Fate just runs around the corner, domes him. Pinhead Larry gets taken out as well, and not like this. Back six, I just gave you a compliment, and you're just getting absolutely destroyed by the side of Derby Gods. Nico's trying to hold on, but it might be too little too late.
No utility from the back six players, and actually Nico in a 1 versus 3 now. Sorry, I almost said 1 versus 1. Pinhead Larry one of the only kills in this round. Nico, of course, with the other one, and Nico trying to chop down quietly, can't quite do it. Gives away his position and just runs away to save this M4. Not going to get anything done and knows it. Holding on to this utility, though, gets one sprayed down, but the quick swing in from Zay means that Nico unfortunately loses his life and, more importantly, loses his money. And that means that back six on sort of a difficult buy coming into this one. Aspect probably not on the best of weapons. Actually only pulls out a scout. Nico having to drop an AWP as well to Konza, I think. Only gets a 5-7 in return. And now, look at the Derby Goods. One of them even has a deagle. Two of them.
Ooh, Konza, though, definitely woken up Trill. Playing off his teammate as well. And that's the opening advantage given over to back six. So 2 kills coming their way. Derby Gods, certainly I would not count them out at this point, especially with the firepower sort of deficit that back six is starting with the 5-7 and Scout. Certainly if Zay's able to find headshots like that. Fuli, Zay and Finch are still active. Pinhead Larry, though, has had a very solid performance, being one of the bright sparks for back six. But will he see Zay's head like pop up? No, he doesn't, as Zay just taps him away. Larry just couldn't see that on his screen, potentially, and that is devastating. Now things are even, and also your top fragger is taken off the board for the side of back six, as Restfleet is left with the rest of the team to try and step up on it. Aspect not finding anything with that scout, but Nico will find one. Konza struggles. Gets taken down, but Nico steps on through, and now it's left up to Fuli, the headshot machine, living his best screen performance. There's one. He's not able to find the second. Back six looked very, very messy, but they come out on top and they bring it to round 9.
He stole the scream choke before I could make it there. I was ready to throw that one in myself. But back six on a 9th round, and I think that's going to be enough for them to feel a little bit better about their position. Of course, they are looking for 16. They are looking to break back into that top 8, get back in their winning ways. They've had a little bit of a slump recently, especially after that loss. It was a very bad one to Bath coming into this. They lost 16-5, so double digits is going to fill them with joy, especially because this is kind of a comeback on this CT side. After saying that it's a T-sided map, both of these teams have shown me actually they think it's a CT-sided map, and they're proving to me that it is. There's the Derby Gods just scrambling around the map, looking for one place or another to peek through. Orcs, seeing if he can get something on Ivy. Not going to be anyone there, though, not that he knows. Of course, on a knife's edge, this A site. It can go one of 2 ways, and AWP actually might come out very big for them. The Deagles as well. These weapons aren't very good at range here. The FAMAS, the better of the two, but actually holding their own a little bit. Trill gets one, Pinhead Larry with another one, and now the AWP rotates in for the back six. They're holding pretty aggressively here. Konza gets Fate, and now Orcs trades him off. Thought that maybe Konza was going to get more than one, but can't quite get the cock back on the weapon before another peek comes in. Fuli just looking for that headshot angle, and we know how he is with his headshot. Sees a little bit of movement, and he's homed in on it. Shooting and shooting. Of course, we can see the outlines. The players can't in game, so don't know quite where anybody is at the moment. Orcs sees the first one, gets, I think, probably going to get the bomb plant down. Hiding in that corner. Still a lot of patience on Trill there to get even one kill. As he gets one, Orcs goes for the no-scope, can't quite get it. Trill gets another one, and actually the MVP there on that site, and a bit of BM coming out from Trill on the player that he just killed in Fuli. Very impressive stuff from the back six side. It was actually very well done from Trill just to keep his patience there, hide in that corner, and do nothing much while they planted the bomb. I mean, it was actually very, very well played.
And the question's got to be for Derby Gods. You gifted some rounds, you were kind of BMing at some points, forced by AWPs when you didn't need to. You've almost given them a path back into this game. They're only trailing by 4 rounds. Like, this is doable for them. And so, coming out with this new sort of aggression towards the other side, Fade comes out on top, Orcs follows in kind, and this is what we expected from Derby Gods, especially from their performance earlier on. Nico playing patiently, waiting for his teammates to come into position. He's just going to sit here, Orcs follows up though to Larry, takes the time to swing out just when it's at the right time, I was about to say, until Trill swings right round. Orcs, though, on that AWP has been terrifying to deal with. Trill's just stepping out, in and out, just dashing back and forth. He's found 2 kills, and there's still I was about to say there's still a teammate. No, there's not anymore. He's all on his lonesome. He has to clutch this out, and no, if he dies to his own grenade, he goes for the spray down, but it's not enough. Fuli's still left alive. He's got to try and find the frag. Both players are one shot away. The headshot comes through.
Of course it's a
Fuli
headshot.
just wants to do it with style. He may not be Scream, but he's certainly doing his best imitation of him, because he's just been incredible with his headshots.
Yeah, at the end of the game, I want to see if it's still at 100%, because Fuli has been absolutely on fire this game. Wouldn't surprise me if he has been in aimbots for hours and hours before this, because he's treating it like it. And Zay with an early kill as well. Finch pushing up, gets a headshot of his own, copying from Fuli's book, and Orcs gets another one. They've learned that the B site's the place to go. 2 kills there in quick succession, and now it's Pinhead Larry with it all to do. 13 HP, unlucky for some and unlucky for Pinhead Larry. Nice little stuff coming out from them, and Fuli does finish on 100% headshot ratio. Derby Gods win the game easily there.
100% headshot ratio. I mean, I'm just thinking MVP performance. Do we give it purely for that? Because that is with style, isn't it? Because, to be fair, a lot of the Derby players popped off. A lot of them had really, really good rounds. But it felt like back 6 just almost gave up in the middle there. And then when they rallied, it was a little too late. The deficit was too large, and they couldn't quite recover the rounds they needed and build up that economy to be able to sustain themselves.
I mean, honestly, watching it, a lot of the problem with the back 6 side was just that they never, ever did anything themselves. It was always a response to the Derby Gods play. The Derby Gods did this, we'll do this in response. Oh, they did this, we'll do this in response. Sometimes you have to be the ones that are doing something and you know, causing a problem for the other side rather than responding to it. And ultimately, I believe it's what lost them the game. And Fuli, definitely the MVP for me. I can definitely give that one to him. 100% headshot ratio is just almost unheard of. I can't believe that.
He gave us something to watch, certainly. So back 6, falling. I think they got a little bit maybe bamboozled in the map draft. They certainly didn't look prepared for Vertigo like we were expecting. So they should drop down. So they've actually lost both their games this week.
Yeah, they have.
So they're gonna drop down quite a bit in the standings in comparison to some of the other teams, and maybe fall out that top half. Derby Gods, though, should be able to maintain their position and stay around that point. So definitely well done to Derby, showing some depth to their map pool, showing that they have something beyond just Train and Nuke. They have Vertigo as well. Be interesting when they're forced onto maybe the more traditional maps of Inferno, Mirage, and Overpass, potentially, to see how they handle in that sort of situation.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah, and I think their ADR really shows that they do have the skill. It's there. Vertigo just isn't their map, and this hasn't been their week. I think that's maybe putting it lightly, but they really didn't show their ability there.
And so that concludes week 4. So very well done to our first game, our Goliath of a game of Lancaster coming out top over the University of the West of England. But in the second game, commiserations to back 6, because Derby Gods came out on top that time. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you amazing to our producers as well, Jakey Boy Pro and Salty J, for being our observer. Fantastic job. Thank you Zach as well for partnering with me once again. It's been a lot of fun. Very crazy. We had an incredibly good first game and just a mess for the second game, I think, is the nicest way to phrase it. When you say yeah. So a bit all over the place, but yeah, thank you from us. Thank you everyone at home for watching. Thank you to our partners Logitech G, Unite students and Twitch students for supporting our tournaments. Of course, without them and Amazon Esports as well, we wouldn't be able to put on such fantastic productions as you guys have been watching today. So thank you to everyone, and tune in next week and see if Lancaster can keep up that dominating form, and will UE be able to bounce back from this kind of blip in their otherwise fantastic record. We'll see you next week.